Hey, y'all, and welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we go through piles of information and bring you the good stuff.
That's right.
So today we're talking about Looker Studio,
Looker Studio, that's right.
which can be a real game changer for folks in Overton County who are, uh,
Absolutely.
trying to get into that data.
Yeah, a lot of people are intimidated by data,
Oh, yeah.
but Looker Studio is a free tool from Google,
Okay.
and it can really help you understand your website traffic and how people are engaging on social media.
So is this something that anybody can use, like if I'm just a regular person?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Even if you're just getting started, you can totally use Looker Studio,
Okay, so like if I'm like the owner of a small business or something,
especially if you're the owner of a small business.
I could use this.
You can use this to track all sorts of data about your customers and your website and that sort of thing.
So it's kind of like having a little spy watching everything that's going on.
That's a great way to put it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like having eyes everywhere, seeing what's happening with your business online.
Well, that sounds pretty powerful.
It is powerful.
For folks who are new to Looker Studio, what's the first thing they should know?
The first thing you want to do is figure out what you want to learn from your data. Like,
Okay.
what are the questions you're trying to answer?
So you got to have a goal in mind before you just...
Exactly. You don't just want to go there blind.
Right?
You want to have some specific questions you're looking to answer.
Okay, so once you know what you're trying to find out, then Looker Studio can kind of help you dig through and...
Exactly. It can help you find the answers you're looking for.
Okay, well, so where does all this data come from in the first place?
Well, Looker Studio can connect to a bunch of different sources like Google Analytics, Google Ads,
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, all sorts of different platforms.
Hold on now. Slow down a minute. That's a lot of different sources.
It is, but that's the beauty of Looker Studio is that it takes all of that data from all those different places and brings it all together in one place.
So it's like taking a jigsaw puzzle
Yeah.
and, putting all the pieces together
Exactly.
to get the whole picture.
That's a great analogy. It's like having a big picture of everything that's going on with your business online.
Okay, I think I'm starting to understand this, but let's make this real for folks here in Overton County. What's like a real life example of how someone could use this to their advantage?
Sure. So let's say you run a small business in Livingston, like a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
You could use Looker Studio to track your website traffic and see how many people are visiting your website from different parts of the state or even the country.
So like are people coming from Nashville or Knoxville or...
Exactly. You can see where your visitors are coming from, what pages they're looking at, how long they're staying on your site.
Okay.
All sorts of valuable information.
So if I'm getting a lot of folks from Nashville coming to my bed and breakfast website, maybe I should advertise over in Nashville.
Exactly. You can use that data to make informed decisions about your marketing strategy.
Okay, so I'm really learning something here, and I think our listeners are too. But you mentioned Google Analytics,
Right.
and I think that's something a lot of folks have heard of, but they might not really understand what it is.
Sure. Google Analytics is a free tool from Google that tracks data about your website visitors.
Okay.
So it can tell you things like how many people visited your website, where they came from, what pages they looked at, how long they stayed on your site.
So is that different than Looker Studio?
It is different. Google Analytics collects the data,
Okay.
and then Looker Studio takes that data and
Yeah.
helps you visualize it and understand it.
Okay, so like Google Analytics is kind of like a private investigator gathering all the clues.
I like that.
And
It's
then
gathering all the information.
Looker Studio puts it all together and makes sense of it.
Exactly. It helps you make sense of all that data and figure out what it means for your business.
All right, so that's a pretty good team there, those two.
They work great together.
So what's the best way for somebody who's never used this before to get started?
I would say the best way to learn is to just jump in and start experimenting.
Okay.
Google offers a bunch of free resources like tutorials and sample reports.
Okay.
And there's also tons of videos and blog posts from other Looker Studio users out there.
So there's a whole community of folks who are using this and can kind of
Absolutely.
help each other out.
It's a really supportive community.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of learning more and getting help from folks who know what they're doing, folks in Overton County have a great opportunity coming up.
That's right. The next Social Media Masterminds Overton County meeting is just around the corner.
That's right.
And we're going to have a whole session dedicated to Looker Studio.
Yeah, we'll be there to answer all your questions, show you some real-life examples, and help you get started with this powerful tool.
Exactly. We'll make it easy and fun.
So you don't want to miss this one.
Absolutely not.
It's going to be a hoot.
It's going to be a great time.
All right, so make sure you mark your calendars, tell your friends, and we'll see y'all there.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be some kind of computer expert either, you know?
No.
We're going to break it down real simple and show you how to do it.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say I'm a business owner in Overton County. and I'm really focused on my website. I got a website for my business. I'm
Yep.
on social media.
Sure.
What are some of the things I should be looking at with Looker Studio?
Well, one of the most important things you can track is your website traffic.
Okay. Okay.
Like how many people are visiting your website?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they coming from? Are they finding you through a Google search? Are they coming from social media? Are they clicking a link from somewhere else?
Okay.
You know,
How do you know what to do with all that information?
well, you use that information to help you make better decisions about your business.
Okay.
So, for example, if you see that most of your website traffic is coming from Facebook,
Okay.
then, maybe you should focus more of your marketing efforts on Facebook. Or if you see that people are leaving your website really quickly after visiting a certain page, maybe you need to take a look at that page and see if you can make it better.
Okay. So it's really about, taking those clues and trying to improve things.
Exactly. It's all about using the data to improve your business.
All right. Now let's talk about social media.
Okay.
I know that's something that's really important for businesses nowadays.
Yeah.
Everybody's on Facebook, Instagram,
Everybody's on social media.
Twitter, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So how can Looker Studio help me with that?
Well, Looker Studio can track a lot of things about your social media, too.
Yeah.
It can track how many people are seeing your posts, how many people are engaging with your posts, are they clicking on your links, are they sharing your posts?
So instead of just wondering, you can actually see, the numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can see how well your social media efforts are doing.
Okay, well, that's pretty valuable.
It is.
Now, we've been talking a lot about businesses, but there's a lot of other folks out there in Overton County. We got nonprofits, we got community organizations.
Absolutely.
Can they use this too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Looker Studio can be really valuable for nonprofits.
Cuck?
It can help them track how well their fundraising campaigns are doing. It can help them measure the impact of their programs.
Right.
And it can even help them find new ways to reach out to their community.
So it's not just about, making money.
No, it's not all about the money.
It's about making a difference.
That's right. It's about using data to make a positive impact in your community.
All right. Well, one of the things that's always impressed me about Looker Studio is, you can see all those numbers and everything, but it can actually make pictures out of that stuff, right? Like charts and graphs and all that.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that really important?
It's incredibly important because it's much easier for our brains to understand information when it's presented visually.
Oh, so instead of just looking at a bunch of numbers, I can actually see.
You can see the trends.
Yeah.
You can see the patterns. You can see the big picture much more easily.
So what's a good way to kind of get started with this without getting overwhelmed? Because it does seem like a lot of information.
Yeah, the best way to get started is to start simple.
Okay.
Don't try to track everything at once. Just pick one or two things that are really important to you
Uh-huh.
and focus on those. And then as you get more comfortable, you can start tracking more things and building more complex reports.
Okay, so don't try to do everything at once.
Don't boil the ocean.
All right, well, we've talked about what it can do. Are there any things that it can't do? Are there any limitations?
Well, the free version of Looker Studio is incredibly powerful.
Okay.
But there are a few limitations. Like, for example, you're limited in how many reports you can create.
Okay.
And you can't do some of the more advanced things like combining data from different sources.
Combine data from different sources. What does that even mean?
So that means, like, let's say you want to combine your website traffic data with your sales data.
Uh-huh.
So you can see which marketing campaigns are actually leading to sales. Or you could combine your social media data with your email marketing data to see how people are interacting with your brand across all the different channels.
Oh, so I can really start digging deep with this stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's not in the free version.
That's right. That's a feature that's only available in the paid version of Looker Studio.
Okay.
But for most small businesses, the free version is more than enough to get started.
Okay, so it's kind of like test driving a car.
Exactly.
You get to try it out and see if you like it.
You get a feel for it.
And then if you want all the fancy features,
You can upgrade.
you got to pay a little extra.
That's right.
All right, well, now you're a Google Analytics expert.
Mm-hmm.
What are some tips for folks who are just getting started with that?
Well, one of the most important things is to make sure you set up your Google Analytics account correctly from the beginning.
Okay.
Make sure you're tracking the right things.
Right.
And you're using all the features that are available to you.
Okay, and I know there are a lot of features there.
There are a lot of features.
Some of them can get pretty complicated.
Yeah, it can be a little intimidating at first.
Right, so what's like the number one tip you would give somebody?
Start simple.
Right.
Don't try to do too much at once. Just focus on the basics.
Uh-huh.
And then as you get more comfortable, you can start experimenting with some of the more advanced features.
All right, well, we've talked about a lot of the technical stuff.
We have.
But at the end of the day, it's about people.
It is about people.
These aren't just numbers on a screen.
That's right. These are real people.
These are real people making decisions and doing things.
And we need to understand their behavior.
So how do we keep that human element in mind when we're looking at all this data?
Well, it's important to remember that data is just a tool.
Okay.
It's not the be-all and end-all. It's a way to help us understand our customers and our audience better.
Okay.
But it's important to use our intuition and our own experience to make sense of the data and to use it in a way that benefits our business and our community.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to remind folks about that special event coming up in Overton County.
Oh, yeah, the Social Media Masterminds Overton County meeting.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a hands-on workshop where you can actually get in there and start using Looker Studio.
Absolutely.
We'll be answering your questions. We'll be sharing tips and tricks.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
So whether you're a complete beginner or you've used it a little bit,
there's something for everyone.
You're going to learn something from this workshop.
Absolutely.
So make sure you mark your calendars, tell your friends.
You don't want to miss it.
And we'll see you there.
It's a great way to meet other people who are doing the same kind of work you are.
Right.
And learn from each other.
That's what I love about our community. They're always willing to help each other out.
Absolutely.
So, we've talked about how Looker Studio can help businesses, see how their website's doing and their social media.
Sure.
But what about using it for, the whole community, like Overton County?
Oh, that's a great idea, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because there's so much data available about our community.
Yep.
Like census data and economic indicators and crime statistics and all sorts of things.
So you can really get a good picture of what's going on.
Exactly. You can use Looker Studio to visualize all that data and see the trends and patterns in our community.
So it's like having a giant map of Overton County, but instead of roads and rivers, it's got information about the people and the businesses and everything.
Such a great way to think about it.
So that would be really useful for the mayor or the county commissioners or anybody who's trying to
absolutely make decisions about.
It can help them make better decisions about where to allocate resources and how to improve the quality of life for everybody in Overton County.
Well, that's pretty amazing.
It is.
I mean, who would have thought that data could be so powerful?
I know, right?
All right. Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about Looker Studio.
I think so.
I hope y'all have learned something today.
Yeah. And, if you're interested in learning more, we encourage you to check it out.
Absolutely. It's a free tool from Google, so you've got nothing to lose.
That's right. And don't forget about the Social Media Masterminds Overton County meeting coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one.
That's right. We're going to have a whole session on Looker Studio. We'll be there to answer your questions and help you get started.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
So make sure you come on down and join us.
You don't want to miss it.
All right, Al, come back now. You're here.